If you have a role in marketing and you're just focused on marketing automation platforms or making ads or selling products, you're not really doing enough. You have to help create a product that delivers true value for the customer. So let's talk about how you can do that. Hi, I'm Daniel Burstein, Director of Editorial Content for Marketing Sherpa. We are here at the Marketing Sherpa Media Center at IRCE. I'm joined now by Richard Sexton, the Vice President of Member Engagement at AAA Carolinas. Thanks for joining us, Richard.
My pleasure.
So as we were talking about at AAA Carolinas, you guys are so focused on delivering value to the customer, not just marketing, not just selling, that even your title and the titles that you've given to your employees, they're not about marketing or webmaster anymore. Tell us what you've done.
So at baseline, our whole experience, at our fundamental core, is about delivering peace of mind. And when people think of AAA, they think of roadside service, they think of safety. We are a trusted brand. Our customers are members. They pay a certain amount per year to have access to a service that they hope they actually never use. So, and we're a 100-plus-year-old institution, great brand equity, a trusted name. So when we talk about member engagement in terms of marketing, we're not really thinking of marketing anymore at all. We're thinking about, okay, we've got these people they are paying a certain amount to be members for that experience, but that might be the only interaction they have with us at all. And so our research has shown that the more interactions they have with us across our business lines that extend far beyond roadside service, such as travel, insurance, auto buying, car part replacement, auto parts, car care, and the roadside service itself, if we can get them to engage with us beyond just simply writing a check every year for that peace of mind, then the chance of us retaining them as a lifelong customer who increases their interaction with us increases exponentially. So when we think about member engagement, the engagement portion is what we want to focus on, not just sending out a marketing message, not just sending out emails or having a nice website or sending direct mail campaigns, which we do plenty of, but really creating multiple touch points that interact with each other.
So that's not dissimilar to an insurance company or even a car company where you might only buy once every 3 years, right? How do you keep that relationship going?
Right.
So let's take a look. What we have on the screen now is these are the strategic projects for AAA Carolinas as a whole, the entire business. So as a business leader at AAA Carolinas, and filling in a role that's similar to marketing in many other organizations, what role do you set in setting the overall business strategy?
So our first is to define the member experience itself. So when we look at our 2 million member base and we look at the number of people who are renewing and the number of people who don't renew, to figure out what the dynamics are in terms of what's driving them to one action or another. So at base, like I said, we are a membership service organization, increasing that core service, making sure that when they pick up the phone and call in a situation where they need us, that we're there, immediately delivering value. So defining the member experience and building off of that, where they realize that, okay, they've helped me out with my car, my vehicle situation on the side of the road. Maybe our driver can take the opportunity to say, well, you might want to bring your car into one of our car care centers, or I notice that your insurance is expiring in half a year and we sell insurance. So taking that base experience and building off of it and leveraging it to create the mentality of, AAA is going to take care of me in any of my moments that need either protection or mobility moments or anything where I'm in my car driving or on a vacation. So taking that core experience and leveraging off of it. So defining the member experience is really sort of the totality of where we want our members to be when they first join and where we'd like them to be 5 years down the road.
Okay, so those are some key customer touch points, but maybe let's back it up and take us into the boardroom. So how do you, and what advice would you give to other marketers to be a voice of the customer in that boardroom, where so often it's very easy to be very company focused, very focused on what the company wants to do, and not what really matters to the customer? What advice would you give?
Right, so the first is listening. I mean, so we are trying to create an ideation platform that we can have both internally and externally, where our members can make suggestions on our services, but even preceding that, every roadside, we have 1 million roadside instances a year. Those are all listening opportunities to get feedback from our members. What do we do right? What do we do wrong? We follow up with every incident with surveys, trying not to badger them too much. But with that amount of volume and that amount of interaction, we have multiple opportunities to survey and get feedback from our own members. We have a call center with 400 people. There, all they do is listen. So that's the first step, bringing that in, and then formulating. So we're a pretty complex business. We've got these 5 or 6 independent businesses all rolled into the membership experience. Taking that feedback and seeing where it's going to be most effectively directed in terms of fulfilling a specific business objective. So if our customers are saying, well, you send me 5 pieces of mail for one insurance policy, that's an opportunity for us to streamline the experience and maybe roll it into another particular touch point in a more efficient way, in a way that's more relevant and meaningful to the member.
Okay, so as we look at these 6 priorities that your AAA Carolinas is focused on, I see digital engagement, as you talked about, was so important. So what are you doing now specifically in terms of digital engagement? Where are you trying to get to?
Right, so digital engagement, that encompasses our own website, which is fairly complicated because we've got multiple independent platforms. When I say multiple, I mean like over 20 independent platforms, yeah. Whether it's a travel booking agent, or whether it's a tire store, or whether it's an auto buying quote form, an insurance quote form, with a number of businesses. And we have a national organization as well that has got interaction with our website too. We have to make sure that presence is uniform and consistent and offering sort of that same level of excellence and what our members expect from us. So, and I should say that every AAA club, there are over 40 in the country, we are all independent clubs, but our brand and our roadside service database is all maintained by the national headquarters in Florida. So we have to make sure that wherever you type in AAA.com, if you're in Oregon, you're going to get a different club than when you're in North or South Carolina. So we have to make sure that that's not too jarring a difference when you're in those different areas, or if you break down in California and you're a member in Maine, that the number you call, that they know that you're a AAA member even though it's a different club. So that data integrity, that's a big part of the digital experience, and making sure that we're getting this kind of holistic view of the customer, pulling in from our different databases. So that's a big part of the member experience.
Because the customer doesn't care at the end, right?
They don't care.
They just want a seamless experience. They don't care that you have 20
That's exactly right. It should not
calls.
make any difference to them whatsoever. And that's got to be first and foremost in terms of our protecting and building on our brand name and brand trust.
So where do you start? So let's say there's a marketer watching. They've got even just 3 or 5 different platforms in their website. Where do you start? How do you start getting your hands around this problem?
So what we've done is created cross-functional teams, and it's sort of modeled after a university program, the University of North Carolina. We've got these small cross-functional teams that take a specific part of the member experience and break it down, and so we're trying to be a lot more empirical and data-driven in terms of how we take a particular member touch point. They're taking that experience and pushing it across, whether it's insurance or travel, or whether it's answering the phones or some other function, and trying to break that down into each individual action that a member has. So my advice would be, and this is all internal to us, so my advice would be using your employees' innovation and observations to look at the customer experience from different perspectives, because everyone has a different touch point with the customer, with the member. So using that as a first step, leveraging the creativity of your employees and using their ideas in some type of, whether it's a formalized innovation platform or something that you do just thrown together. But that's really the first thing, is looking at their different touch points with their customer or the member.
Putting yourself in the customer's shoes. Huh?
Yeah, but from every different possible perspective of the customer.
Well, I think that's important too, because I think sometimes we assume we're the customer, right? Who our customers are could be very different from ourselves. So it is important to see the different segments, the different angles, the different ways they can interact with us. Might not be the way we interact with our own brand.
Right. And the other thing is making sure that we have follow-up with a member. That after that member experience, that we are, like I said, without badgering them with requests for information, because there's a fine line between getting the information you want and asking too many questions that they just say, I'm not going to answer. So we make sure that we're asking the right questions to our members, following up, and taking that data with 1 million instances and 2 million members, we've got a lot of data to sift through. It's big data in every sense of the word. So make sure we also have the business intelligence, using visual analytics, using all the tools that we have to sort of break that down, each component of the member experience, and saying, okay, what does this entail, and trying to make it better.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing, Richard. Thanks for coming by.
My pleasure.
And thank you for watching. If you're looking to improve your customers' experience while improving your results, you can see many more video interviews at marketingsherpa.com/IRCE.